Good morning, everyone. Michael Bergio with Morning Minutes with Mark Novak. This morning we're going to be talking about... Very good question. So I'm going to bring Mark in. We're going to be talking about the iPhone and Mark's experience with that. Pretty pumped for Saturday. It's going to be a big day. Good morning, Amal. Hope you're well. Adding Mark in now. Updates. So it says who's live. Okay, that's pretty cool. Just let you know when you're doing a live, Amal, there's a new, you got your heads up here. That's really cool. What does that mean? Okay.
Top of the morning. Top of the morning to you.
Cool feature. So when you're going live, so you know how we normally add, okay. So whoever's, you know how I've got to add you into manually. So this is anyone doing a broadcast or a Facebook Live. Normally, I'll be live and I've got to press the fourth symbol down the bottom to bring Mark into it. Looks like there's been an update on Facebook that it's got viewers' heads, like a little speech bubble at the top right of the screen. And I can just touch your head now and bring you in. So Amal, I could bring in, there's Vats there. Okay, that's cool. Yep, anyway.
Wow.
Makes my life easier if I can just add in. Alrighty, Mark, what are we talking about? Morning Minute.
How's everyone this morning? Yeah, I got a good one today. I last night thought to myself, I'm getting old and I'm getting negative. So I had one of the ladies from her office. Her son's 21, and he's a bit of a legend. And he goes to me. He's been talking to me the last week about the iPhone, ordering it, how much, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, fucking sick. Looks great. It's gonna be really cool. And the lesson's here. And he goes to me, look, I'm gonna go after work. Finish work at 4, whatever. He goes, I'm going to go after work into Apple, line up and get one. And I was like, I can't squash these kids, I can't squash his enthusiasm. So I'm like, yeah, great. I may even come and meet you. Because I thought, I'll go out, check out what's happening. Friday, I do a bit of a half day sometimes. So anyway, I got caught up. And he goes to me, yeah, I'm in the line. Do you want one? And I was like, yeah, I want one. Go, that'd be great, He's like, okay. I'm thinking, how's he got the money? Like, it's a lot of money. I said, I'll pay you straight away, but yeah, if you can get one, get one. He's like, okay. So I read like half an hour later, I go, look, I'm feeling bad.
He's wasting his time.
They're gonna, he's been excited the last week, and it's fucking, I can't say, dude, don't waste your time, And he's like, they've sold out worldwide. There's no more available. The shop sold out.
Because the backstory here as well, Mark, is you went to order and you're waiting 3 weeks. So the thought of someone getting one today, you're like, fuck yeah, okay, go for it.
Yeah, I was like, I can get it. Yeah, mate, get it for me. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And so I go, he's like, I go, look, how long are you in the queue? He said, there's only like 8 people in front of me. I said, look, that's pretty cool. Hey, Jeff. I go, that's pretty cool. Guys, what we're talking about is young enthusiasm. The young bull outstripping the old bull. Anyway, and he goes, there's 8 people in front of me. I said, okay, well, you've been in the line for an hour at the Apple store in Sydney. Has anyone been like, turning back, going, fuck, damn or shit or, he goes, no one. I go, what, like, this is 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Friday afternoon. Apple's launched at 8 o'clock. There's people lining up the night before, whatever. And he goes, no, everyone's like, no one's been, fuck shit, getting turned away. I go, shit. And he said, a lady came up to me and said, what am I here for? And I said, I'm here for an iPhone. She didn't say there's none available either. Wow. Anyway, he SMSs me. He goes, I've reserved 2. And I was
Reserved.
like, yeah, there you go, reserve, whatever, you know. And he goes, and I said, oh, well, so how long's the wait? You know, I'm thinking a month or 2 weeks, come and pick it up. He goes, no, I'm just going to go line up in the other queue and they'll give it to me. I go, what? He goes, yeah, it's going to go in the other queue and they'll go there. And I'm thinking, nah, still don't believe it. I'll go, you know, yeah, okay, go to the queue. Goes to the other queue. And he goes, look, he rings me up. He goes, hey, I've got the phones. Do you want to cover? And I'm going, what? You got the phones? He goes, yeah, I've got the phones. I go, mate, they're sold out worldwide. No one can get them in the whole world. How do you turn up to the shop, line up, and get 2 iPhones that you can't get for like a month or 2? Like, what's the story? And he goes, yeah, I got them. And the story for me was like, I think sometimes being a real estate agent, you know, 10 years down the track or 20 years down the track, sometimes you know too much.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, there's no chance in hell, everyone's going to be lining up, you know, it's not going to happen. This kid just rocks up, buys it done when everyone's been researching it and thinking, no, wait. He just lined up and got it. The point for me, and the point that I want to talk about this morning, is just that old-fashioned balls. And when you just go hard, you just don't give a shit, you got no fear, you don't make excuses, factual, you know, good excuses or factual excuses, you just go for the jugular and get it. That's a big one.
It reminds me of, you know, I think we all can get places. It's like hearing when someone says, oh, that property's sold or that property's leased. And most agents will just be like, okay, deal's over. And then it reminds me of that Manly lease, Mark, where I was like, okay, you're saying it's leased, but have they signed the lease? Because everyone's different in their terminology, especially when it's someone not in the industry, like an owner. She goes, no, they haven't signed the lease. Okay, so it's not leased. What have you done? Taken a deposit. Okay, have they signed the heads of agreement? No. Then really, it's fucking, nothing's happened. The deal's on. So as much as everyone's saying that phone's sold out, that kid's just like, well, let me go to the shop and see if it's really sold out. I'm sure that.
And like it, and I know that
100%.
applies in real estate, and I know that, and I know a great trainer of ours, Tom Panos, uses the word hustle and talent.
Talent beats hustle.
What is it?
Hustle beats talent when talent won't hustle. Yeah.
Correct. So I would not hustle yet to go get this phone because I'm like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
It won't happen. They're sold out. There's no way. It's worldwide. But, you know, I'm happy to spend the time researching the thing for hours and hours and watching videos and hearing all about it. But I'm not happy just to line up and grab one.
And
how many people in real estate talk about the transaction, think about the transaction, research the transaction, and the other cats are out there just grabbing it by the balls and going
another Tom Panos. 80% of winning is beginning or along those lines. Just so to put that in perspective, that kid. Well, how long has iPhone's been out? 10 years, and every year. And you just hear the horror. You're waiting a month. You know, you go down to the Apple Store, sold out, come back in a month. So in the back of your mind, you've stopped trying when it comes out. You're just like, I'm waiting a month. He's fresh. When you want milk, you go to the shops to get milk. So when you want an iPhone, you go to the shops to get an iPhone. And you got an iPhone.
Yep. So when you're selecting an agent, you know, and when you're, or even if you're getting into your 30s and 40s, you've got to stay fresh. You've got to keep hustling. You got to stop. Just because you know more, it doesn't mean you should think more and then not do the deals.
Says, be young at heart as well. Like, sort of have that young hustle heart, be in that old body, like Mark.
Mate,
Yeah.
it wasn't like me yesterday.
Yeah,
Yesterday,
yeah.
I was like, man, this is
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not possible. And this kid just goes
So,
out and does it.
so what's some advice for
Done.
some people feeling old, looking old, and losing that hustle? What gets it back? What sparks it?
Look, I think if you've been in the industry for longer than 3
Mm.
years, you're in trouble. Longer than 5 years, you're in trouble. I think you've got to, stay fresh, stay current. Don't think about shit too much. Just keep churning through the work. Like, how many times in our offices do you
Yeah.
become the Google doctor? You're in Google researching the transactional, researching the terms. The other cats are out there just doing the
I
business.
think it also comes from where I reckon it also stems from, especially when you first start. Like I don't know, you sort of feel like you got nothing to lose, which I think you've sort of got to keep that attitude, especially when you're breaking into a marketplace, breaking into a sector. You sort of got no care in the world because there's no precedent, there's no nothing. And then I think what people sort of where it holds them back is then they've created something or a brand, and then they get fearful of that. But you've just got to keep moving forward and pretend you're sort of at step one and not get. Well, it's not. I don't think it's complacency. I think it's almost like you've got something to lose. It's more like it's got something to lose.
It is.
It's almost like what's the saying, like war or fighting? If you're going into a fight with no family, you're a hungry animal. But then as soon as you've had a kid or you've got something, you see it in the movies all the time. As soon as you've got something to lose, they've got that fear. They second guess themselves. They're sure run into that burning building.
It's a good
point. I think we do that.
So just to bring everyone up to speed, what we're talking about this morning. Well, actually, I'm casting this morning from a brand new iPhone 11 Max Pro, and a friend of mine, one of our leaders in the office, son. He's 21 and he's a bit of a legend. And we always talk about tech, and we've been talking about the iPhone the last week or two, and he said, "Look, I'm going in at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock to get one. Do you want one?"
Like their lollies.
And,
Would you like one?
And then he brought back one, and I'm like, man, I was so negative and pessimistic. I know I said yes, but I'm thinking in the back of my mind,
because they're sold out.
Like,
Everywhere you've read, they're sold out. You can't get it, and this kid just wants to rock up to the shop.
Yeah. So with your real estate agents and with myself and ourselves, you've got to keep hustling. You got to stay current. You got to keep pushing yourself and not thinking too much. Because often you just think about it and you lose the business or you don't do the business because you just been thinking about it so much. When there's other cats out there just grinding and just chomping away, that's how we do business. That will make an owner more money when they sell their property. That will make an owner more money when they rent their property. When they've got an agent that's hustling.
Well, here's a good example.
Not thinking too much. Educated.
Yeah, here's a good example. We hear it all the time, Mark, even with agents when you come up with creative ways or concepts to market a property outside the box, and you get some agents that are just like, oh, is that right? Is that like, I'm not saying you're doing anything misleading or anything like that. It's being creative. So it's not the normal. And half the people probably 80% of the people will basically think of 1,000 reasons not to do it, that it may piss off one person or confuse one person. But it's like you're creating a point of difference for your client.
Yes.
Back, say, at your beginning of your career, when you didn't give a fuck, you would have just done it. It would have created some more people coming to the property or urgency, or it may have failed, but you didn't care because you gave it a shot. Or it worked, and then it worked, so you're happy as well. So I find even these days, even with like marketing strategies or implementing any change, you'll hear a lot of people, there'll be 10 reasons why you shouldn't, rather than just doing it. It's a lot quicker to do it and realize if it fucked up or didn't, than just sit there and go, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Can we? Will that hurt Sally's feelings down the road?
And I know this morning's example's a bit of a lay example. We're talking about a mere iPhone, but the lesson was great, much greater for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I knew all the reasons why it was not possible for this kid to go out and buy them. I knew. And there's that saying where energy goes, where focus goes, energy flows. So he was focusing on just going to get it, and he was spending an hour or two. Whereas my focus was, look, it's not going to be possible. It's not there. It's not going to happen. It's never happened worldwide. Apple Store, thousands of people. It's not going to happen. And when you got an agent that's just focusing with their eye on the pie, as an agent that's super educated and thinking about the reasons why it shouldn't be done, it's pretty powerful
100%.
stuff. What we're talking
and I think
about.
we've said it before. Like Glenn Higgs is a good example of that old dog keeping that young hustle and that spark burning, especially with social media. A lot of older agents, they're not even on social media, and they're just like, nah, and they avoid the change or adapting. They're thinking.
They're thinking about it.
Like some of them have been thinking for 10 years.
They're thinking about it.
So
they're thinking about the reasons why it can't work, shouldn't work, won't work, could it work, it may work, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. If they take that energy, they take that focus, and they throw that into just getting shit done and getting on social, 100%. They're going to sell shit on social. And I say
to so many people in other industries, buddies, like we were trying to chat with the suits people the other day, more businesses need to be on social, more business people need to be on social and talking about what they do. It's a lot of people are interested by what a lot of people do. I find it's not just a platform for real estate agents. Brokers should be on there. I know Sam, he's on there today. He does a lot with his financial planning, which I love, educating people. I think a lot of people restrain themselves of, no, it's just for real estate agents for social media. It's everything on there.
Michael, it's a platform. It's a platform for humans. People think it's not a platform for selling cars. It's not a platform for selling real estate. It's not a platform. It's a platform for humans. Humans are spending the majority of their day on it. And when it's not the iPhone that they're spending their time on, they're spending it on one or two select apps. I want to be on those apps advertising properties. I want to be on those apps to get a better price for my clients. But again, this morning, and what we're talking about is just going to get an iPhone when everyone else is thinking about it. It's not possible. It's sold out. It's there. I think in our business, if you're employing an agent, you want to go get her. You want them educated. You don't want them sucking on their thumb, but you want to go get her. You don't want someone so green that they got a blunt blade, but you do want someone green so they're super optimistic to go and get that price. They know no better.
Perfect. Any questions, guys? Anything out there? Anything else you want to add, Mark? Pumped for Saturday.
Yeah, it's big Saturday. It's big day. Look, real estate prices, Northern Beaches. We won't open the topic up, but I will put the headline out there. Northern Beaches is pumping.
Yeah, I put a few posts on my social, on my story, which basically Sydney's top demand suburbs. No, sorry, Australia's top demand. And Luke shared it. Thank you. So Collaroy and Allambie were in top 2 of Australia's growing suburb, and of Sydney we had DY and something, just DY. That's all that matters.
Let's see how that translates.
I'll put the article.
We'll let you know how that translates this weekend, guys.
Feed. Very interesting read. And it also had Northern Beaches as one of the highest searched suburbs on realestate.com, Australia-wide. So really good article.
That's great.
And we could talk for another hour about why the Northern Beaches had that growth, but we'll save that maybe for Monday.
Guys, thanks for your support this morning, and have a great weekend.
Hopefully best of luck, everyone. All the best. Cheers, guys. Bye.
All right.
Bye.